Hello dear students. Before watching this video, you must believe in the fact that you are the most promising candidate for CLAT 2020 and the top national law universities are eagerly waiting for you. Just have faith in yourself and your mentors. By the time we finish this video, you will have discovered the biggest reason as to why most CLAT aspirants struggle unnecessarily during the entire study period and why some students are easily able to clear this examination within 40 days. So fasten your seatbelts and let's begin. The first reason of difficulty for most of the aspirants of any competitive examination is their inability to understand the pattern and syllabus of the exam. Given the fact that CLAT pattern and syllabus have been completely overhauled, most of you must be facing the same problem. Therefore, we bring to you the minutest and the most unique analysis of CLAT pattern and syllabus, which with all guarantee will bring utmost clarity to your mind. We shall not delve into the commonly known details and facts about the CLAT, such as CLAT paper type, number of questions, marking scheme, etc. Let's directly jump to a point of relevance. We shall proceed the discussion on every segment in the following manner. Firstly, constituents of the subject, that is, introducing you to the elements or subtopics which form the part of the subject. Secondly, what does the examiner want you to do, that is, the demand of the subject. And lastly, how you can fulfill the demand of the examiner. Friends, CLAT has 5 subjects which are discussed here one by one. First subject is English. The subject will have 450 words passages to check your ability to comprehend the passage and understand it in letter and spirit. Reading comprehensions are not derived from any undefined, unsystematic source as most of us think. They are strategically prepared from some broad areas. Thus, our team, with all its experience, has found out the areas from where a passage may come in the examination. The areas are literature, art and culture, economy, politics and governance, science, medicine and environment, philosophy and moral science, history and historical events, international relations, sports and health, entertainment, and other articles from newspaper such as editorials, opinions, and reviews. Now, friends, we come to the second part, that is the demand of the examiner. If you carefully go through the consortium instructions, you will find they are asking us to find out the main point discussed in the passage, along with identifying different arguments and viewpoints and comparing them. Next is drawing inferences and conclusions from the arguments. And last is summarizing the entire passage. In addition to this, they may ask us questions based on vocabulary or grammar, but the same will be from the passage only. Thus, we need not worry much about these. After understanding the syllabus minutely and the demand of the examiner, we now come to the point as to how can we fulfill that demand. Yes, we have an answer for you right here. Firstly, collect 10 passages of each type or area mentioned above from any good source you know or from the sources we have provided in the timetable below. Now read a passage and write down the main point the author wants to convey. Next, find out whether there is a single main argument or is it accompanied by more than one arguments. Try to write each argument along with the argument supporting and contradicting or opposing the main argument. Next, find out whether there is any conclusion or conclusions drawn by the author. If yes, whether such conclusion is based on the main point or any contradictory argument. Next is finding the what, why, who, when and where for the passage. And then try to write a 50 to 60 words summary of the passage in your own words. Friends, if you will do these points, it will take some time. But the point is we are practicing it before the main exam. So most of the students face a problem when they come across an unseen passage which is from an area or topic not belonging to their class 12th stream subjects. Time for panic is over. What you have to do is practice 10 passages of any one topic or area mentioned above per day by the method discussed just now. In this manner, you will have thoroughly practiced more than 100 passages of all the broad areas and will not be surprised when you come across a passage which is from an area not related to your class 12 subjects. We are sure that if you religiously practice 10 passages from every area mentioned above, you will easily comprehend almost all the passages in English section. Although there is also a mention of questions based on grammar in the consortium instructions, but there will be no direct questions of this sort. Questions will be only asked from the passage. Thus, you need not worry much. Just study these broad topics of grammar as the aspirants did for earlier CLAT examinations. The topics are noun, pronoun, preposition, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, conjunctions, punctuation, and tenses. We hope you have clearly understood the requirements of the English section of CLAT 2020. If you're still not clear, you can contact us anytime on our CLAT 2020 helpline number or write an email to us. We are always there for you. Now we come to the second section, which is current affairs and general knowledge. Consortium has this time made the current GK section very interesting and valuable. This section is aimed to test your knowledge of worldly affairs. This section is important because a lawyer or law student must know what is happening around him or her. Edgar Dale has said, "There never was a time in history when ignorance of current affairs could be so dangerous." Like earlier CLAT pattern, this time current GK section will not test your knowledge of crude facts or distant piece of information. Rather, it will test your overall knowledge of the most important current events happening around you. Thus, you need to have a peripheral knowledge of the news item which you come across. You cannot just read the news and move forward. Now you will have to find out everything majorly related to the news flashing in major news dailies such as the Hindu, the Indian Express, and others. Now comes the question as to how do we identify the peripheral knowledge of a news article. Here, you need to do some smart work. Don't try to research on every news yourself. There are lots of online portals for current affairs which provide complete research on every current matter in a systematic manner. But beware, do not get swayed by the plethora of content available on the internet. Test every possible source for once, but rely on any one or two sources. Please do not refer more than two sources in any case. This is the biggest mistake which every person who is unable to clear the exam does. For your convenience, we are coming out with a monthly compendium of the most important current GK topics under the name of Current Orbis. It has been specifically designed by our mentors from various national law universities for the last 40 days of preparation. This is a freely available collection which we would be sending to you through an email in PDF format. To avail the magazines, you can write to us in an email or WhatsApp us your name, CLAT registration number, date of birth, and place of residence along with your email ID. Now we come to the third subject, which is legal reasoning. Legal reasoning is one of the most important subjects of CLAT syllabus, which holds your fingers not only for CLAT examination but also till the last day of your law school life. So you need to prepare this keeping in mind your future as a student of a good national law university. The section does not test your prior knowledge of law. Rather, it will test your application skills, that is, whether you can apply a principle to a given set of facts or not. Well, this is what a lawyer is supposed to do in his profession. Hence, the soul of this section is broadly similar to that of legal awareness section of earlier CLAT examinations. There are some minute differences though. Firstly, there will be a principal facts question, but both the principle and the facts will be given in one single passage without explicitly distinguishing them, unlike earlier pattern, where both principle and facts were marked separately for every question. Next difference is that the questions will be in the form of passages of about 450 words each. Next, there may be a tweaking of facts or principles unlike earlier pattern. The consortium has introduced current legal events as part of this section where you require a peripheral knowledge of the events asked. For your convenience, we have divided the legal portion into two subparts. The first part is static legal, where you will need to study static laws such as contracts, constitution, torts, and law of crimes. Next part is current legal, which includes important judgments given by different courts in India, bills passed, and amendments made to various laws and international legal affairs. The examiner here demands that you must be able to identify the principles and facts, identify whether principle is applicable to the fact situation. Next, identify the change in an outcome with a change in fact or principle. And as a responsible citizen, know the basic current legal affairs happening around you. Now, the third thing is, how can you fulfill that demand? The answer is very simple. Firstly, try solving past year questions from CLAT examination or any other source. Secondly, ask your friend or teacher or any elder to tweak the principle or facts a bit. Now try to solve it and write down the change in outcomes or the consequences. You can cover your understanding of static legal from whatever source you have or otherwise the free online portals mentioned in the timetable of the test series, a PDF of which is available in the link given in the description below. For current legal affairs, you can rely on various sources mentioned in the timetable discussion and follow the same strategy as that of current GK. You can also request us for a compendium of monthly legal affairs prepared by the experts in our team. Due to the lockdown and unavailability of physical classrooms, our mentors have decided to provide the current legal compendium by the name of Lex Amicus Orbis. Now we come to the fourth subject, that is logical reasoning. This section was a reason for worry for many aspirants who approached us on our CLAT 2020 helpline number. So let's first understand the subject itself. Logical reasoning section, as per the consortium instructions, can be divided into two parts, that is critical reasoning and analytical reasoning. While the analytical portion contains topics such as blood relations, puzzle test, number series, etc., the portion which most of the candidates fear is critical reasoning containing paragraphs of 450 words each. The CLAT consortium in its instructions has clearly stated that both logical reasoning and English sections are more or less similar in pattern. This gives us an opportunity to divide the section into 11 broad areas as we did for the English sections. These areas are literature, music, art and culture, economy, politics and governance, science, medicine and environment, philosophy and moral science, history and historical events, international relations, sports and health, entertainment, and other articles from newspapers such as editorials, opinions, and reviews. The second thing is understanding the demand of the examiner. In the portion of critical reasoning, the examiner wants you to first recognize arguments, conclusion, premise, that is the basis of a statement, analogies, inferences, concurrent and contradictory opinions, consequences, and theme or themes of the passages. And next part is to establish connection between arguments and conclusion, cause and effect, facts and arguments or conclusions. And in case of analytical reasoning, the examiner wants you to depict mental ability and presence of mind through analytical reasoning in blood relations, puzzle test, number series, syllogism, etc. Now that we know what the examiner is expecting from us, we can easily move to the tips and tricks on how you can give what he wants. In case of critical reasoning, you have to follow the same principle as that of English comprehension, that is, the 10-1-1 rule of practicing 10 passages of one area in one day. Find out all the points mentioned under the recognize and establish connection between heads mentioned just now. Gradually, you'll notice that your fear of critical reasoning will disappear. Point to be noted here is that these 10 passages should be different from those being practiced under English, making a total of 20 passages per day. For analytical reasoning, you can practice questions freely available on various online sources. But keep in mind that while solving the question of analytical reasoning, try to formulate a flowchart or Venn diagram suiting to the information provided in the paragraph. This will help you to quickly solve the question. Now, with the fear of reasoning over, we can easily move to the next section, which is our also last section, that is quantitative aptitude and data interpretation. Although the name seems very technical and professional, but if we go through the consortium instructions and sample papers carefully, we will find out that this section is very much similar to the earlier mathematics section. The examiner would ask you questions based on the topics number theory and basic arithmetic, average and percentage, simple and compound interest, permutation and combination, ratio and proportion, mixtures and allegations, time and work, fractions and equations, time, speed and distance, monetary evolution, probability and sets. No maths background is required to solve these questions. Even if mathematics is your Achilles heel, you can easily solve the questions correctly with a little practice. The only difference between earlier CLAT exams and this year is that under the new pattern, the examiner would give us data via pictorial representation such as graphs, pie charts, etc. What you need to do is just identify the relevant information and move on as usual. So here we are with some tips to deal with this section. Firstly, try to separate relevant information from irrelevant information. Next, keep the rough notes of every question handy. Do not stick for much on one question. Next, you don't have to memorize formulas, rather focus on tricks. And next is practice as many questions as you can. We have provided sources for these sections in our timetable schedule. Please understand that you can score well in this section only through practice. So you should practice as many questions as you can because practice makes a man perfect. With the above explanation, we hope all your doubts regarding CLAT 2020 syllabus and pattern have been addressed. Now you are completely ready for conquering the CLAT. You already know more than most others who haven't seen this video. So let's now move on to the explanation of daily timetable and All India Open Online Test Series. Let us now discuss the approach for preparing for CLAT 2020 during the next 40 days along with the test series being provided to you. Before we start with the timetable, we know you have some questions in your mind. The first probable question for all of you must be, why should I take the test? The answer to this is very simple, that the tests have been specifically designed by a team of NLU graduates and subject experts after a thorough analysis of the exam pattern, consortium instructions and sample papers released by the consortium. And the best part is that the test series is completely free. The next question in your mind may be, is there any prescribed syllabus for the test? The answer to which is yes, there is a detailed and minutely described syllabus which is unique in itself and is specifically curated for complete preparation during the last 40 days. One may also think, what shall be the mode of the test series, whether they are online or offline? The test will be conducted online, but without involving too much of technology, we have kept it very simple. You have to register your mail ID with us and we shall send you the test paper on every test day at sharp 2:45 pm. You have to write your answers on a white sheet or an OMR sheet if you have printed some and send an image of the same on our mail ID as a reply to the earlier mail, latest by 5:15 pm the same day. We are providing you with 11 free mock tests on every fourth day starting from 14th April 2020. Now comes the most important question. Do I get a daily timetable synchronized with the test series? The answer is yes, surely. Our team members have designed a daily timetable to help you work efficiently without any wasteful effort during the last 40 days. The timetable has been crafted by expert personnel who have cleared the CLAT exam with great ranks. In other words, it is a topper's timetable. If you work according to it, you shall be able to cover maximum possible syllabus for CLAT 2020. Having understood the details, let's come to the enrollment part. We have kept it very simple. Just send your name, CLAT registration number, date of birth and place of residence to our email ID or to our WhatsApp number. Please don't worry, your information shall remain confidential and your privacy intact. Let's begin with the timetable for the test series. Your test series will start on 14th of April and the timings for every test will be the same as that of CLAT, that is 3 pm to 5 pm. You shall get 4 days to prepare for each test, which will be sufficient to cover the syllabus for that test. Keep in mind that as you will give all the 11 tests, you will have completed the entire syllabus of CLAT as discussed earlier in this video, and that too in a consistent and relaxed manner. Now here is the preparation strategy for test 1. The first subject will be English, which will cover topics noun and pronoun from the grammar section and will include passages for comprehension from literature and economy areas. The sources for these two topics will be as mentioned in the slide. Coming to the important part is that you have to select 5 passages each from the given areas every day and try to find out the following from each passage, which is the main point of the article, different arguments presented in support of and against the main point, write a conclusion of the entire passage, different opinions if there are any, and now try to write a summary of the article in only 60 to 70 words. This will help you in long run. The next subject is current affairs and general knowledge, in which the current affairs from the month of June and July 2019 will be asked. The sources for the preparation of this subject can be any source from the internet or can be CurrentOrbis, which is a freely available monthly current affairs magazine specifically designed by NLU alumni for the last 40 days of preparation. Remember, if you are going on internet is an ocean of information. You should dive into it only when you know how to swim across. Hence, before surfing the internet, try to jot down the specific points which need to be researched on and leave aside all the other distractions, howsoever important they seem. Also remember, you have to know the peripheral information regarding the subject matter of the topic. Coming to the legal reasoning part, the topics covered will be law of contracts, only the basic part of it, and the current legal events from June and July 2019. The sources can be seen on the screen. Coming to the next, logical reasoning. Number series from the analytical reasoning section will be covered, and critical reasoning passages will be covered from art and culture, politics and governance, the sources of which are mentioned on the screen. While reading the articles on different topics of legal reasoning, try to find out all the points covered under the recognize and establish relations between segments as explained in our PDF on decoding the CLAT 2020 syllabus. Coming to the last subject of test 1, quantitative aptitude and data interpretation, topics covered will be time, speed and distance, profit and loss. This section is entirely based on practice, understanding the usability of data and then separating useful data from irrelevant information. Questions are sometimes designed in such a manner that an aspirant gets himself entangled into irrelevant data sets, so be cautioned. We have discussed the syllabus for test 1 and now you have to study for the next 5 tests in similar manner as shown here. These tests are sectional and fundamental tests covering different portions of the entire syllabus. The next two tests, that is test 7 and 8, will be revision test and the last 3 tests will be full length covering the entire CLAT syllabus. You can download the complete timetable from the link mentioned in the description box. Hope you found this video useful and will utilize the information provided to the best of your abilities. For any more queries, feel free to contact us. Our contact details have been mentioned in the description box. All the best for your preparation. Remember, you are destined for top national law universities. Stay indoors, stay safe, and keep the spirit up. Thank you.